In this video, we're going to talk about trinomials specifically. We already talked about polynomials, which are just strings of terms lined up in descending order. But a trinomial is a special type and it generally takes the form ax squared plus bx plus c. And trinomials are special because we can factor them in a specific way by turning them into two-termed factors. Okay? And that process is basically the reverse of foiling. So we're going to undo the first outside, inside, last of foiling, and we're going to get our two terms back that we would have when we foiled. Okay? Just so you know, when we're done with all these factors, we'll be able to foil it back in, and you should be able to get the original trinomial. That's the goal here. Okay? We'll start with our first example. We have x squared minus 5x minus 24. And the way we're going to factor, remember, if we're trying to reverse FOIL, we're trying to get two distinct factors that are going to look like this. There's going to be an x value, and then there will be a number after that. Okay, that's the goal of this type of factoring. And how we do that is when you FOIL, remember, you multiply the first times the first, right? First. That's going to get you the x squared term. The last times the last is going to get you this number. But then this one times this one, and this one times this one are going to add to the middle number. So what you're trying to do is factor this number, 24, okay, and get numbers that are going to add to the middle number. That's the goal. So you're trying to factor the back number, and then get them to add to the middle one. Okay, so in this instance here, we've got 24. 24 can factor like this. We got 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. Okay, so out of these sets of numbers, we need to find ones that will get to -5. Okay, notice, because this number is negative, you're going to need to have a positive and a negative number here, so when they multiply, they get to a negative back number. Okay? I'm going to pick 3 and 8, and when I do that, I'm going to have a +3 and a -8. And now I'm going to show you why that works out. Okay? If I FOIL this back, I'm going to get x times x, which is x squared. Outside, so x times -8, -8x. Inside, 3 times x. Last, 3 times -8 is -24. That condenses to x squared minus 5x minus 24. So this is a correct factoring of this trinomial. Okay? Let's try another one here. We've got x squared plus 6x minus 9. So we'll put our parentheses ready. So we're ready to factor. We'll factor the back number, 1 and 9, and 3 and 3. Okay? And well, I wrote that problem wrong. Oops. That's supposed to be a plus and a plus. Okay? So, we got x squared plus 6x plus 9. I factored it to 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. And now that we have a plus sign in the back, we can have both of our terms here be plus or minus. In this case, we're going to want it to be plus because we're trying to get to +6. So I'm going to put +3 and +3 there. And then as I'll show you by foiling one more time, x times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, x times 3 is 3x, 3 times 3 is 9, and that becomes x squared plus 6x plus 9. Final example over here is another one where we're going to now have a negative number in the middle, so we're going to end up having multiple negative signs in there. 4, we've got 1 and 4, 2 and 2. So if we subtract 2 twice, we'll get the -4 in the middle and a +4 at the multiplication step of the FOIL process. Okay. The final thing we're going to talk about today is a special case of a trinomial. It's called a binomial. Okay. This is when the two middle factors cancel each other out and you're just left with an x squared and a number. That's usually a perfect square. Okay. For these ones, there's just a formula for it. Okay, if you have A minus B, okay, and they're both squareable terms, you can square root them and get a whole number, okay, you can just do A plus B, A minus B. So in this case, x squared and 9 are both squareable, so you'd end up getting x plus 3, x minus 3, and that's the answer. All binomials are like that. So anytime you have something squared, and maybe a perfect square, or two variables that are squared, you can just follow that formula to solve the trinomial. Okay? So remember, when we're trying to factor trinomials, we have to reverse FOIL. So we have to factor the back number, try to find some numbers that we can have to add up to the middle number. It's a little complex, but once you do it a bunch of times, it becomes really easy. I've been doing this for almost a decade now, and I'm really good at it. You're going to have 1 year to kind of get your head wrapped around it, but it's really once you start doing it, you'll pick it up fast. The other thing is if you really struggle with picking out the numbers, you can always use what I call the guess and check method, right? Where you just start filling in the numbers, seeing if it works. Doesn't work, erase it, try again until you get the right answer. You can always do that.